Mark Edwards lost control and jumped on Gabriel, biting, scratching, hair-pulling, punching and kicking him. Once again, although it was painful, Gabriel didn't fear for his life. "Back off, Mark," Gabriel said. Mark redoubled his efforts, his tears of frustration now flowing openly. Then his friends got tired of holding him down, so instead they joined in. "Back off," Gabriel shouted as soon as he felt real pain. The entire gang flew away from him. A few landed uncomfortably. 2 landed in a nearby fountain. Mark was lying directly in front of him, crying into the ground. Aiming a kick square at Mark's chest, Gabriel took out some frustration on him. "Now, you little freak, you are going to die," Gabriel glowered. Then he stopped and turned. He thought he had felt someone watching him. He turned back to Mark, who was trying to stand up. Gabriel kicked him in the arm and sent him back to the floor. Then Gabriel walked away, leaving Mark crying hysterically on the ground. Madeline had wet her diaper. She had meant to. She wasn't even aware of her need to go, but she had. As soon as the wetness had touched her skin, Madeline knew what she had done and was deeply ashamed. Professor Yaffle had turned and looked at her while she was doing it, and Madeline had to wet herself in front of her mentor. She felt like a baby. She smelt like a baby with the clammy pee in the front of her diaper, and she was now crying like a baby. Professor Yaffle said nothing as he pulled into the car park beside the lake. Once they had arrived at a secluded spot, Professor Yaffle opened the door and moved to the back of the van. Madeline got out of the passenger side and went to take his wheelchair to him. "Madeline, I have stopped us here for 2 reasons," Professor Yaffle said. "The first is so you can change. If you want to, the second is so that I can try and fix the damage that I have done to you." "Thank you, Professor." Madeline blushed as she realized just how childish she must have seemed as the car had to be stopped for her diaper to be changed. "I will be by the lake. Once you are ready, please come and get me," the Yaffle said as he rolled towards the picture postcard setting. Madeline moved to the back of the van and proceeded to begin to change her soggy diaper. Gabriel had wandered aimlessly since his fight with Mark, and he found himself facing the church at the wrong side of town. This was a place where he didn't want to be. The bad neighborhood was to his left. To his right was the lake. Gabriel could smell the burning tires from beside the lake bed. He turned and began to walk back to his house when he once again felt someone staring at him. Whirling around, he saw a cat streak across behind him. It was so black it looked blue when it ran. He laughed at himself for being so jumpy. There was no one following him. Mystique watched the awkward-looking mutant spin around. He was fast to have noticed her watching him. Once he turned back around, dismissing what he felt as whatever, she pulled her body into its human form. If her plan worked, he would come begging to her to help him. She took the form of a beautiful teen girl. Hypnotic approached the now sullen Mark. Her straight black hair and skinny body made her attractive except for her pointed nose and thin lips. "Hey there, bully boy," she taunted in her melodic voice. "Huh?" he grunted. He was nursing his forehead, sitting in the cafe of the mall alone. "I bet you wish you could get your own back on the guy who did this to you." "Yes, so I could help you." "How?" "I could give you powers to fight him." "Why?" "Because I can." "Now shut up and look at me." Edwards raised his head and looked into Hypnotic's eyes.